There we go. Everybody should be able to see me. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode. You guys like that intro? The stream didn't die. You guys might have to refresh. Maybe you might have to refresh. Stream didn't die, though. Thank you guys for tuning in. Episode 1. Skyllus and I are here, running this through Google Chat. We put this together because we got a lot of requests from you guys to do something similar to active reload, but obviously we didn't want to straight rip from Kenny, so you know, I kind of sat down with Colin and plotted out what we could do. So here's my co-host Colin. Are you on the mic? I can't hear you.
How about now?
Yeah, there we go.
You have me muted.
I had you muted, yeah.
First episode jitters.
What? What are you talking about?
Let's do it.
Alright, so we're kicking it off. First episode, we want to talk about MLG Dallas, the pro circuit events that they, or the titles that they chose this year. They have League of Legends, Starcraft 2, and I guess no surprise on my end, no surprise, we have Black Ops 2 also being added to the circuit. So, Colin, I'm going to go ahead and let you start off with League of Legends. You know, your thoughts on that. Obviously, it's a no-brainer to me for it being a choice. You know, you're the one that plays it a lot more than me, so I'm going to let you kick it off.
Yeah, I think no-brainer is probably the best way to describe it. They have tons of viewers, so financially it makes the most sense for MLG. And obviously they're throwing a lot of money and production into this year, so again, no-brainer. I think they're going to be using it as one of the stops during the season, like during Riot's official season for League. It's not really that clear how they're going to be intertwining all that stuff, but it should be interesting. I imagine that it'll be good tournaments all around. Yeah,
what is the Season 3 prize pool? Is it 1 million again?
1.6? 2 million? I can't remember.
Some astronomical number?
Ridiculous.
some number that blows everything else? Yeah.
Yeah, not even close.
Alright.
It's like 50 Gears of War MLG seasons.
Did Gears of War ever even reach like 50,000?
Championships was 40K,
40?
wasn't it?
Okay, that's not
so yeah, it's around like 50 of those.
Yeah, okay.
For one season of League of Legends.
Okay, yeah, that's totally fair. Next game, Starcraft 2. I personally, I mean, obviously, this is a no-brainer. They probably have the second largest audience, I'd say, for viewership.
Possibly Dota 2 might have more.
At this point?
It's hard to say. I think StarCraft's kind of been dying down a bit, but they do have Heart of the Swarm coming out.
Yeah, which
I believe they're using Heart of the Swarm at Dallas, I want to say.
Oh, so that'll be interesting.
Heart
of the Swarm comes out next month.
Yes.
Yeah, so...
everyone's been playing it because it's been in beta, and it's not going to be that much different from beta to release.
Well, I think that, you know, with I don't know if you saw, but some of the guys that play StarCraft are making a switch over to League. Did you notice that?
No, I haven't. I mean, I know some of the like popular streamers, like Destiny is a good example. I know some of those guys. I'm not sure about the pros though.
Yeah, I was just reading up on some of the Korean players are. Well, one, obviously, a switcher from the original StarCraft. You have to switch from StarCraft to StarCraft 2. Then there's another wave that's going from StarCraft to League of Legends, which is really interesting. So I've been reading a lot on how that whole scene is like wishing they were League.
I wish we were League too.
I don't think anyone quite understands, like, if you're console and you don't follow League, or you don't just follow stream numbers in general, like, League is just blowing everyone out of the water. Like, it's just not even close at this point when you talk about...
The European West server went down the other day, and there was 100,000 people watching on Twitch, and there was no tournament in sight. It was just people playing.
Dang.
100,000 people.
Did they promote it on their website?
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that was just straight.
So it's just people just watching
viewers.
like that?
Yeah. Servers are down. I can't play League. Better watch League.
Oh my god.
Those guys are just making bank right now.
So
there's nothing even comparable.
Yeah, just not even close. I guess the one that I won't say it's a surprise, because it's not a surprise to me at all. But I actually made a video before they even made the announcement. I made a video like, esports enthusiasts, hop on Black Ops 2 if you're playing console shooters. It's just what you need to get on, Call of Duty. And so, with that announcement of Black Ops 2 being added to the circuit, you had like all the Halo guys pretty much wilding out. Like, they did not enjoy that at all. But I can't say it's really a surprise. We were in that same boat. We know what it's like. They're kind of getting...
Yeah, I tried to tell everyone. Early that it was happening.
I mean,
the same thing around this time. I think some of the Halo guys, like, some people were clinging on to hope, but I think most of them knew that was it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think there could have been any other possible scenario for that to play out. I mean, it was only maybe Halo. I mean, it had a slim chance, but when you say Treyarch is throwing
Microsoft money,
it
needed to be Microsoft.
You got Activision throwing stuff in there. You got Treyarch throwing all their weight behind it, and then everybody else is kind of like, we don't know if we want to commit to this. We don't know if esports is where it's at. We don't have the features that we need to really propel it into the limelight. But I mean, MLG at this point is looking at who's throwing dollar signs at us, and Treyarch, Activision, they got the money.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is, at the end, whatever console title they pick, it's not going to bring in tons of viewers for them.
And Black Ops 2 is the best title for potential viewership, hands down.
And it's still going to have at least, well, at most, maybe a third of Starcrafts. And then who knows how much percentage of Leagues. So it's like, no matter what, they need to think of it from who's willing to pay us to have it on the circuit, rather than what's the most competitive title or what's the most... support. I think in this case Treyarch actually was the most developer support from any title.
Yeah.
So definitely. It's like you can't really look at it from that aspect, but no matter what, they're gonna have to choose the money. I mean, otherwise they'd be losing money running a console game which requires a lot of resources. 4v4 is really difficult to run a tournament like that, and really expensive. So it makes sense. I mean, it just makes sense in the end.
So if you are playing Halo, if you're playing Gears of War, if you're playing any other console title, other than maybe like Street Fighter, I'd say that they're in their own separate category. The fighting game community is just like outside of the sphere of esports, in my opinion. What should you hop on Black Ops 2? What do you think?
Do you enjoy Black Ops 2? I think that's the... Like, if you enjoy it, then by all means hop on. I mean, otherwise... I don't think that you need to be on the MLG circuit to have competition. Hell, we did it for years playing random titles. It was always VBI, LGD, Type Z, just hopping from title to title, tearing each other up. Like, you don't need that if you enjoy playing other games. I think right now there's kind of a rut of bad games where it might be difficult to find games you enjoy to play.
So are you saying that Halo 4 is a bad game?
I can't comment on that.
All right, for anyone that doesn't know, Skyllus actually works for Certain Affinity, and they help develop some of the multiplayer aspects of Halo. So he's really touchy to comment on anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I feel like they took a lot of steps backwards in the competitive side of things, and I'm not sure that was really their focus. It's hard to say. But I don't think that... obviously, they didn't go anywhere near the kind of support that Treyarch threw.
No, not at all.
Treyarch rolled out the red carpet for the competitive guys, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah. Do you think that Treyarch has now shaped the path for everyone else? Do you think that it's going to be a standard now? That's the big question. That's just like a lingering question that I have. Is like, if Treyarch does this, will everyone follow suit on console side? Like, PC is already adopting. You have spectator mode being implemented, people trying to get their game app up into Twitch and live stream from Twitch and all that stuff on the PC side. But on console, it's still like, this is a box product. You know, I just want people to pay $60 and I'm not going to do anything else.
Yeah, I made the joke a while ago that as much as developers rip things from Call of Duty, I really wish this was the kind of stuff they were ripping from Call of Duty instead of the gameplay aspects.
Exactly.
Like, if console developers start to take note and copy these types of features, it could mean a huge thing for console FPS down the road. If that doesn't happen, and this is, say, the last title that's like that, then it's going to be a long road. Well, it's going to be a short road for console FPS as far as competitive play goes.
So the other question that comes into play, especially for Black Ops, is you have, obviously, Infinity Ward making Modern Warfare. Is this the only season where Black Ops 2 is going to shine? Is MLG going to decide, obviously new consoles are right around the corner, is MLG going to decide, okay, Modern Warfare is trash, which it probably will be, because Infinity Ward sucks at this point, or are they going to continue to just pump out Black Ops, or they're going to switch it over? That's like my big question with Call of Duty, and why you would want to choose Call of Duty is that year over year, it's a different game every single time, and you don't know what features you're going to get with Infinity Ward versus Treyarch.
Yeah, and a lot of time they don't even port over the same features, so that's always going to be a huge question mark. And I think that what's probably going to happen is the same thing happened with the 360 is new consoles are going to come out, Microsoft and Sony are going to push the shit out of their exclusives and put lots of marketing money towards it. Esports is this big growing field, lots of money is going to go into it, and it's probably going to be them paying to get whatever big exclusive they have in the spotlight. And if the competitive features are there, it'll have a shot, and if not, then it'll probably just fall off the moment the Microsoft stops throwing money at it, you know?
A la Halo, for example.
A la Halo. Gears was probably the same way. Gears was the only console exclusive outside of Halo at the time, and they were throwing money everywhere. Around that same time, WSVG had Fight Night on Xbox, Guitar Hero on Xbox, CPL ran Gears, WCG had like four Microsoft titles.
They did.
And
they did.
That's not by coincidence. That's because Microsoft was throwing money to promote that and to promote the new console. So when they're trying to sell the console, they'll throw money at it. And that'll be the next big chance, I think, for console shooters. Until then, it's going to be all Call of Duty.
So anyone that is in my stream and watching this show or watches the channel, I've said this once, I'll say it again, and we're going to hit on the other games, Halo and Gears of War Judgment here in a second. If you are interested in becoming a pro player, your best shot is to play Call of Duty right now. It just hands down. Unless you have a small group, maybe a hype festation, maybe an AGL, I think is what Halo ran this past weekend.
Yeah.
And they did all right.
It was okay.
But those are the types of things that you're going to have to look forward to. It's not going to be MLG. It's just not. You might get some online tournaments thrown your way, but I would say don't expect to see any title outside of those big three get any type of big money, big time promotion, anything on the MLG Pro Circuit. I just wouldn't expect it at all. Now this leads us to one that we kind of have a little funny thing about with PlanetSide 2 getting what did they partner? They partnered with MLG. It was announced late last week.
Yeah.
And I mean it's kind of vague and what the announcement was.
It's really vague.
So it's just like they're partnering. If you played PlanetSide 2, the game right now, to me it's like a bigger Battlefield, and Battlefield has its competitive aspects, but the game type, the whole metagame and what the persistent world of PlanetSide makes it very hard to promote as an esport title. They don't even have some of the features that they need, and it said in that article that MLG was going to be working with them on what features or something like that.
Yeah.
So, what is this marketing push? Is it actually going to be anything other than maybe some online Max Payne 3 action? I just don't see it.
I thought the announcement was a little deceptive, like the way they were releasing on Twitter, but I don't see it as any different than when they had Alien vs. Predator on the floor, you know, like for people to play, and then they did a 2v2 tournament with like some Halo pros at their studio and posted a video. It's strictly a marketing thing, I think. in the end, they might help develop some futures. But realistically, they're just getting their game on the floor, and MLG saying, "We'll promote your game if you give us XXX." Yeah.
Right. So anyone trying to make that switch over to PlanetSide 2, I think you're wasting your time. I think you're
unless
wasting
you
your
have
time
fun playing the game.
Unless you have fun when, yeah. If you already play the game, which I played a little bit, Colin, you play it. We have the Zenigades on Waterson East,
Yep,
and it's the best.
Vanu.
Vanu, best.
Vanu for life.
But unless you are playing that for the pure enjoyment, and you're like, oh, this is an added plus. If you're just, and some people got all hype about PlanetSide 2 being on there, and I saw them putting in mad hours, but that's not gonna be. It's not gonna be a thing. It's not gonna be a damn thing. Remember Max Payne 3? Remember Max Payne 3? Do you remember Alien vs Predator?
Yeah, we just want to with Rockstar.
We just want to reiterate this with you guys. Like, it's not going to be that big. Trust me on that.
Yeah. All that's going to happen is they're probably going to have some streams of people playing at the office, or maybe some big personalities in the MLG community playing the game and streaming live, and maybe even streaming from an event, someone playing at a booth. But I don't see it going anything further than that. They did something recently with some of the bigger YouTube guys. I think Total Biscuit was one.
Total Biscuit. What's that guy's name? Toby something, and it was Cnators?
I think Cnators was yeah. So then, like, those three streams playing live from the event, each was a different faction, you know, that kind of thing. I think you'll see some of that same stuff with PlanetSide MLG, but you're not gonna. It's not gonna magically become a competitive title.
Yeah,
it's nowhere close. I mean, it's like 500 versus 500, and you're gonna get that many in station. That'd be intense as shit, though.
Yeah, it would. I mean, I enjoy the game enough. Tobuscus, I think is how. Yeah. But I really enjoy the game because I like Battlefield, but you know, Battlefield has its constraints and game types and stuff that make it work. And right now, PlanetSide 2 doesn't have that. So unless they have some major revamps going on that we don't know about, or someone says, "How do you like Mag?" I liked Mag. It wasn't that bad. I remember we played it at eBatch. Yeah.
I enjoy the game. Like, it's not me knocking on the game. I think that it's just kind of a promotional thing more so than anything, which is fine. I'm fine with that. I thought it was a little bit deceptive the way they announced it. That was all.
Yeah. So. I mean, I really think that if they changed it around a little bit, the way the meta game works, had some different game types, PlanetSide 2 could be a really big title. Stream wise, I think it's Sony Online Entertainment.
It's Sony, yeah. It's Sony dollars.
Are they? Yeah, they're the one promoting this. So as far as I've seen, they really promote the shit out of this game, like a whole lot.
I think they're counting on it quite a bit.
But just competitive wise, like I just honestly can't expect too much from the MLG thing. It's just not in the current state. Yeah,
it kind of sucks because another free-to-play FPS game is actually well positioned to be a competitive title, and they've been pushing it really hard, which is Firefall. It has spectator mode. They've been pushing. It has like 4v4, 5v5 team size.
Yeah.
They actually just announced they're going to be reducing the kind of tier list down to just one tier, so it's a competitive tier. You don't have to grind in order to compete with the best. So, like, that's really well positioned. I think they said they were going to do a lot of money. I think $100,000.
I thought it was $1 million.
Was it $1 million?
I think they're going to do $1 million because as soon as we get the details, let's just say it's going to be a lot of money. But as soon as we get the details, I think we planned on playing in it. I mean,
it's fun.
We played the game
very much in the veil of UT.
Yeah,
it's very similar.
Yeah, I'd say UT and Tribes-ish because you can like jetpack a lot and stuff. So
I wish those guys were the ones that were able to throw money at MLG to have it on the circuit. Because it'd be fun. It'd be fun.
That's more of a game where the meta game isn't. You wouldn't think it has the MLG stuff, but then when you go to PvP, it makes sense. It's like, oh shit, I get this. This could be the next whatever. So I really like Tribes more so than PlanetSide. So I would have loved to see that, just like you. Now getting to the games that were kind of overlooked. Well, one is not even out yet, but obviously we talked about the Halo guys being really upset about Black Ops being on the circuit. You got some guys that are making the switch. I know T2, or not T2, Ogre 2. Ogre 2 is teaming with actually two of our buddies. Zero, we've just competed against them in the past. So their team on Black Ops 2 is him, Compact Killer, who's national champ for Rainbow Six like 3 years in a row, something like that.
He's just an all-around beast gamer.
All around. He's one of the best gamers that I've met personally. Cool ass dude. You got Mr. X, again, another really good gamer. Him and I think was on the same team as Compact Killer for Rainbow Six, so he has just as many national titles. And then Zero BC, who played Battlefield, pretty much all the Battlefield games at a competitive level. I don't know that $250,000 tournament. I don't know what team he was on, but I think he played in that as well. So, I mean, that's a really experienced team. That's just an example of a guy that I know that's making that switch from Halo over to Black Ops, and I would like to see that team do really well. But it's going to be interesting. You know, a lot of people talk about how easy the game is, but Optic has been on top. And Envious and all those guys have been top 8 for 5-6 years now. So
even across multiple titles. So,
it's like you got a tough road ahead. But what is the state of competitive Halo right now?
I feel like they're in the same spot where Gears was post Gears 3 launch. I think we got one shot at it. You know, like,
well, just one.
Yeah, we got one shot, and then it went pretty well. We felt like we did pretty well with hype in terms of viewers and excitement and all that stuff.
I want to say hype pulled in 12,000. The hype 1 pulled in 10,000. Hype 2 was like 15 to 17, something like that.
Yeah.
For peak,
with an average around 7 or 8 for most of the tournament.
Right.
Which is really good. It's around the same numbers that Halo got, coincidentally, I think. So, for their kind of events, I think AJL was around that same point, maybe a little bit lower. But they're kind of in the same spot. I feel like they're in that lingering spot, like, well, without MLG, what can we do?
Scoot says CSGO has a good future. I agree.
Yeah, I think CSGO could do well.
Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just saw him say that.
No, that's a good point. So I just feel like Halo's going to be the same thing. I feel like that community has been around for longer than Gears was, so there's a possibility they'll stick around a bit longer. But I feel like the Halo community has kind of been, the MLG Halo community at least, has been less impressed as each title has been released and less enthusiastic about the game. So I'll be surprised if they stick it out through another 2 or 3 years till the next Halo comes out.
Yeah. The one thing that has me concerned with Halo is that they started out grassroots. They started doing locals. They had like I don't even know the names of all the tournaments, but they started off grassroots.
Yeah.
They were going to LAN tournaments. They were doing all that stuff, and then Sonny came in, was like, and all those dudes like, hey, we want Halo, and then that scene got abandoned. Like, there was no local stuff. People weren't going to. I mean, you had like some of the local guys still going to local LANs, because I remember at eBash, we hosted a couple decent sized tournaments.
It's just the ones you could drive to within like an hour, and then you go.
But then at some point, people were just like, you know, why am I wasting my time going to this when I can just practice for MLG, and I'm just going to do that. So at some point in time, they lost their grassroots. Okay, look, we're going to go to this event, this event, this event, build it up. And now they're like heavily relying on MLG to like feed them money pretty much.
Which is fact of the matter is that's what it was, is they were fed money and opportunity for all those years.
And then got the rug pulled out from under them, and now they're kind of scrambling. So, you know, I feel like it's almost too late, because you already have some of the major guys making that transition over to Black Ops. Some of their big-time players and personalities. And then you're left with, like, guys that are, like, in between that were pretty good, but they weren't fantastic. Kind of sticking it out like, okay, we're going to go to AGL. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And I feel like I just don't feel like they have the personalities and the will to continue it on for another however long until the next Halo, 3 years or whatever.
Yep.
So
I sympathize with them.
I do.
It's gonna be the same deal, I think, for as Gears went, and now there's only a handful of Gears teams playing, trying to hold it together. You know.
Right. So, I mean, it really takes a lot of effort. I think on their part, especially from the guys that are the big names, to make it all come together and work. So I sincerely wish them the best. Hope that they manage to kind of figure out something. I know that, like we mentioned, the AGL tournament. I know that went okay, but when's the next one? Are there going to be as many teams? Are there going to be as many viewers? And we could kind of talk about Halo 4. I know you have to be kind of touchy with it, but for me personally, as someone that never really competed in Halo 4 is, I mean, it's decent. It's a good game. The issue I had with it is that the content schedule and the way 343 has kind of put together some of their things for playlists and all that has just been like atrocious. It's like been really bad. And up until the community playlist went live, which was like a couple weeks ago, they weren't feeling that need for me to play like arena style Halo. It was all like that big team, I'm 14 years old, let me run around in a vehicle and splatter people and get on my gun and fly a Banshee. Like, that shit is not cool to me anymore, and I don't find that enjoyable at this point in time for gaming. I don't want to get killed by a Banshee. Is someone going to shoot me? They're going to shoot me with a gun. Like, that's just how I feel now. And so, like, their whole first 2 months, I guess, has just been big maps and shitty maps and playing Haven over and over again. So
they definitely shipped with more big maps than they did small maps.
Yeah, and the other issue is, like, even with the big maps, you have people voting the same damn map over and over and over again. Like, oh god, I played so many Havens that first month, because I stopped playing December. I think December 10th was the last time I had stopped playing, up until community play list came out, and I just got tired of playing. Like, I got tired of playing the same maps over and over.
Democracy
again.
is just the worst in console shooters. In Gears of War, you got fucking gridlock every game.
Oh god.
In Call of Duty, you got Nuketown every single time it comes out.
Every single time.
Just quit giving us the right to choose. Like, just please, just take it away. We clearly cannot handle that responsibility appropriately. You just gotta take it away.
It's really bad. It's really bad. So I mean, gameplay wise, it's really tough for me to determine the direction. Obviously, that Bungie set with Halo Reach, and that 343 kind of continued with Halo 4 in terms of the armor abilities and stuff. I mean, it feels more balanced in terms of the abilities. The weapon balance isn't quite there. It's like DMR is the way to go.
So good. Yeah.
DMR is like better than everything. Close range, mid range, long range. Why would you use anything else?
It's the shit.
So that's like one of the things. And then they introduced the light rifle, and there's like some change. There's some subtle differences between the light rifle and the DMR. But obviously the DMR is just, I think the fire rate is a little bit better than the light rifle. So
I think the balance on everything except for the DMR is actually
pretty good. Yeah. And it's like, if you tune down maybe the fire rate or something like that with the DMR, it basically becomes a light rifle. So they basically introduced two weapons that almost work identical to each other, and one is just better than the other. And I think that kind of is what made the DMR kind of go over the edge, is the introduction of the light rifle. That's my personal feelings for how after kind of playing with all the weapons. So you obviously know more than me. I don't know how much you can talk about the balance and stuff.
No, I mean, in my opinion, it's just that the DMR is insanely good.
Okay.
I think the rest of the stuff's actually pretty close if you look at the kill times and you break it down. But the DMR just outclasses everything. It's really easy to shoot too. That's my feedback.
So I mean, I guess we kind of hit this Halo thing pretty hard, but in terms of Halo 4. It's almost there. A lot of people still want the spectator mode. I don't know if 343 cares about that. They obviously got Bravo on board.
Yep, which happened to coincide with the community playlist, which was very, very good.
Yeah, so obviously that was a good addition. And then the big one that we wanted to talk about is that Quinn DelHoyo, who is a multiplayer designer at Epic Games, helped on Gears of War 3, maybe some of 2, 3, and Gears of War Judgment, is now at 343 working on the next Halo, probably actually working on Halo 4 and probably some of the next Halo for multiplayer design. Now, Quinn is actually a pretty good buddy of mine, and Skyllus, Colin as well. And so, you know, despite I think a lot of the flack that he got at Epic with Gears of War, just I don't know if you've. I tend to troll the forum, not troll. I don't troll the forums, but I tend to browse the forums. Lurk is what I was looking for. Lurk the forums a little bit there, and the reception that he gets for like changes that almost he had no input on. I won't say he had a lot of input. He probably had input, but not like he wasn't like his baby.
It wasn't his sole decision.
Right.
Yeah.
Is like absurd.
Which is most multiplayer design.
Right. It's
not one person's decision. It's a bunch of people, not just designers, but outside of that as well.
And I don't think a lot of people kind of understand that democratic process of game design. But you know, here's why I like Quinn and why I'm happy that he's at 343. Not necessarily I'm happy that he left Epic, because I feel like that hurts us, so I'll get on that. But he gets competitive gaming. You don't get a lot of designers that get it. You know what I mean? You don't get a lot of people in the industry, and I work in the industry, they don't get it. And so having someone like as an insider that follows MLG, that goes to events, that tunes into live streams, that talks to the CEO of the company, as a designer, that helps. That's what David Vonderhaar is so like fucking amazing, is because he gets involved, and people kind of take that for granted. So as much flack as he got, not necessarily from the competitive community, but from just like general community over Epic for Gears of War, it's just undeserved, and we're really going to miss him on Gears of War Judgment. I don't know what you have to say about it. I mean, we're going to obviously touch on this topic for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely huge. The thing about Quinn is he was very receptive to the concerns of the competitive community. Actually, before the beta for Gears 3, I posted up a thread on the forums, and we got everyone to just go over there and spam the shit out of
the forums, yeah.
Which it made a huge thread, but one of the big things was spectator mode, and it was like, hey, we need the spectator mode in order to do anything competitive with Gears 3. There's no way to stream a tournament unless you're one of the players that happens to make it all the way to the finals. You know, like, that's the only way you can stream a tournament currently.
Yeah.
So I pushed for it, and then between Quinn and Pete Nupley, who is the lead programmer over at Epic, they just like shoehorned it in as a patch, which is just insane to even think about if you know a bit about how game development works, because making that kind of a change for a patch is just huge.
Yeah. Not only that, but they also
expensive, it's risky.
Yeah.
Like, just to get that in there, and it was just incredible that they were able to do that, and it made it a lot easier for events to be run for Gears 3 going on. And they actually got it in before Hype Fest Station, too.
Yeah, and on top of that, they also got in the change to King of the Hill, which was another thing that was all the competitive community. They pushed for the timer, the next indicator for the hill, to come at whatever second. I mean, we wanted something a little bit different. We had a compromise, and they implemented that all before Hype. And I remember Pete saying something like he was tired of watching streams with people, the commentators, having to kill themselves and then go into spectator mode before like a competitive match.
We had to load into the game and kill the fifth player.
Kill the fifth player.
Spectate just the team that they were on. Like, that's all you can spectate was those 4 people. So it was the game would start. You'd kill the guy, then everyone would wait till the 15-second mark, and they'd roll out a spawn like you would normally. Can you imagine that in Counter-Strike? Can you imagine watching the WCG finals and they have to kill the spectator with a knife before they leave the spawn? Do you realize just how ridiculous that is?
I can't even imagine how that would be, knowing like, all right, so you buy, you kill, and then you go about your business after like what, an arbitrary number, like 10 seconds, everybody go at 9:50. It's like what? But that's what we were subject to.
Yeah.
And so
and those guys stepped the fuck up, and it was like, that was the first instance in the history of the Gears of War series that we got any kind of developer input, and it was because of Quinn and Pete.
Exactly. And again, people do not understand, and this is just one of my pet peeves with gamers. It's just like, in general, you know, you get this huge mob mentality, and everyone goes with it, and they don't look at the facts. Like, he helped tremendously with Gears of War 3 and getting that, trying to help it get to the point where it needed to be for you know, it to be viewable and spectator friendly and esport friendly. The only issue and this is not Quinn, this is more Epic's content schedule release. I felt like some of the things were underutilized. You know, we mentioned things like the news event. We needed more support on their website to get kind of viewers. We needed more support for like local events, for Hypefestation and stuff. Those are the types of things that would have ultimately helped, I think, Gears of War's longevity. A lot of people kind of point towards weapon balance and things of that nature. Sure, maybe if we could have got stopping power removed, maybe that would have helped point, you know, another 2 months or something like that. I don't know.
It's all financials and stream promotion.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of MLG, it's strictly like who's going to throw the most money at MLG so they can put the game on the circuit and support
enough
it.
money, I think, is the operating term.
Enough money. Enough money. Okay.
To not lose money running it.
Yeah. Here's something that I kind of want to throw out because we're talking about MLG and the money that, you know, developers need. You know, I have an MLG pass. I don't even remember what it's called because I just blindly support everything esport. I went ahead and bought the Twitch thing, $8.99. I got the year-long MLG thing for HD quality, renews automatically. It's like $29.99 a year, something like that. Where the fuck is that money going? Where is that money? Do they not have enough people? Why aren't there more games on the circuit if I'm spending $29.99 a month? Because I thought that was why that was happening in the first damn place, is to bump up prize money and get more stuff so we didn't have to rely on publishers. Am I the only one that's fucking doing it?
I don't know. Around the same time, they said they'd be running exhibitions of other games, and that hasn't happened.
That hasn't happened. So, yeah. Sonny, where's my money at? Where's my money going? I want to know.
That said, I don't think your $20 is going to be able to run a Gears tournament.
It's not, but I want to know.
I don't think that your $20 plus my $20 is going to be able to run a Gears tournament, which is probably a small segment of the amount of Gears War people that chipped into that. Or a large segment, rather.
Where's the money at? Where's the money trail going? I want to know where my money is going so Gears of War 3 could have been on the circuit. Anyway. All right, so I had to get out. That was just something I was thinking about. But anyway, back on Quinn.
Unbreakable says it might get us another bench. Get a second Gears bench.
So Quinn,
coming back to Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn leaves Epic. Just finished Gears of War Judgment. The big concern I had with Gears of War 3, again, I mentioned this on one of my most recent videos, all about the content, is that they stopped content after the 6-month mark. They had no new content other than Pete throwing together some event playlist for you know, people to the 15,000 people to hop into another event playlist to play. What type of content are they going to look at with Gears of War Judgment, with new consoles coming right around the corner? Obviously, holiday season. They didn't launch during holiday season, so we don't know what other AAA titles are going to come out other than what, Grand Theft Auto. Which, does that have any effect on Gears of War? I don't think it does.
I don't think so. Have they announced a season pass or anything for Judgment?
I haven't seen limited edition. I haven't seen an Xbox with the Judgment. I haven't seen Jack in the Box codes. I haven't seen.
I can almost guarantee you they do a season pass and 3 or 4 DLCs. That's my prediction.
But it's going to be in 6 months.
Yeah, it's still probably going to be 6 months, to be honest.
So after that, we're going to.
I mean, this is the ODST of Gears, is what I think we've established.
But it's not ODST price.
Yep, that's true.
At least ODST was what, $30?
Times are changing though. Times are changing though.
Wait. So you're
inflation.
You're inflation? Are you serious? Look, here's the thing with them basically coming out with this game that I have a problem with. Gears of War 3 launches, and I get the season pass was a good deal. They released that content with 6 months. Nothing came after that. No new game types other than event playlist. Nothing. If they have, and then they develop a new game to kind of, I guess, make up for it. Drop a lot of the game types. Cut down on the, what do you call it? I can't even remember what I was about to say. They cut down on the game types, and then they haven't announced anything for the DLC or the season pass or anything. So, are we gonna pay? We're gonna pay another $60 if they announce the season pass. That's another
DLC as well.
$50. That's $110 for a game that has 6 5 game types. Someone saw in the thing the survival mode for the achievements. We can't talk about. We didn't play it. I don't know whether or not it's in or not. But so you got Overrun, Team Deathmatch, Domination, Free for All, Campaign, possible survival mode, something like that. So 6 potential. 5 that we know of.
3 multiplayer modes.
3 multiplayer modes. And
1 is free for all.
$60.
Yeah.
$60 plus another 50 maybe. So $110 for ODST Gears of War.
As someone who buys games for the multiplayer, it's definitely underwhelming, I think, overall.
And then with Quinn leaving, it's like, well, who's the de facto? We're gonna talk to Pete now.
I'd assume we go to Jim Brown would be like the new multiplayer lead. I assume, just based on seniority, he's been around Gears for ages.
But Jim,
I don't know.
Jim doesn't even talk to anybody.
Jim's not a voice of the competitive crowd, that's for sure.
Right. So I guess it falls on Pete, maybe.
Yeah.
So I want to say like, yeah, guys, let's kind of go gung ho with Judgment, but with the game types, Quinn leaving, which is that's our competitive guy. We need to talk to him. I mean, we could talk to Pete now. Pete is cool as hell. He goes to hype. He goes to all the events, but
he also can't technically say anything or do anything. You know,
right?
Like,
so
usually Quinn was the one that was.
Yeah, he's the one that was advocating
because he could actually say stuff.
So maybe Rackzilla. I mean, he did some Madden stuff, but I just don't see him pushing competitive Gears of War that hard. I don't really think he cares, to be honest.
I feel like unless the situation, which I mentioned earlier, happens with the next-gen titles, and Microsoft's pushing to promote those competitively, then I feel like Gears competitive, maybe DOA, like in this case.
Might.
Dead on Arrival, that
is. For the people that didn't know. So,
yeah.
What's Vish says, Kale, why don't you approach them? Why? What would I say? Hey, guys. Let's go. I could be your esports advisor on a game that's already out. Unlike Hastro, who was the esports advisor for Treyarch before the game released and was able to get all of his input in. You're gonna say, "Hey, let's try to get something in for the 6 months that this game is gonna get supported by you guys." I honestly I don't see it. I'm not a designer. I'm a community manager. I manage communities.
I've never really gotten the impression that Epic was in it for the competitive community.
Which isn't that...
I mean, it seemed like some people were. I think Quinn and Pete were very much voices for us within the studio.
And you had Cliff occasionally throw us a bone like, hey, let me tweet to my 100,000 followers, MLG, go, you guys rock.
Yeah, but in terms of the actions, it was never really anything out of the ordinary, you know?
Right.
So I don't think that it's a focus for them. Just to begin with, and I imagine obviously they like it. It's not like they are anti-esports.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want to get that impression, but I don't think it's at the foremost of their minds. Where Treyarch obviously is very much as a company pushing towards that direction, and I don't see it from Epic in that regard. I think 343 is kind of in the middle, like they aren't sure what they want to do.
Maybe with Quinn they'll ante up. I think Halo might be back on the rise with Quinn going over there.
And Bravo.
So
bringing it full circle, I think that it's a huge pickup for 343. Probably the thing I'm most disappointed about is that we won't see Quinn, you know, kind of transparently tweeting about Gears. Probably won't even be transparently tweeting about Halo, I'd assume.
Maybe.
So
yeah, they're pretty hush hush.
That's the downside for me. But it's cool for them. I look forward to whatever stuff they have coming down the pipe for Halo 4 and whatever's next.
Yeah. All right. Guys, we hit that pretty hard. All right. All right, let me see. We got one more, which is pretty much the final assessment of Gears of War Judgment's multiplayer, which I kind of hit on it. So I'm going to let you go ahead and say your stuff before I kind of finish up on what you kind of say.
So I've kind of posted a good amount of this on Twitter in the past, but from playing it and from reading everything, watching the gameplays, I get the impression that it's much faster, much more fluid. The gameplay was... I feel like the gameplay itself was better than previous Gears titles. It's really similar to Gears 3. I mean, it's basically just Gears 3 with tweaks in the end.
Yeah.
Like, it's obviously the same engine, it's Unreal, but the base code is all there. They only had a year and a half, maybe like a year and 10 months to develop, so there that many changes to begin with. Animations are even all the same. It's just tweaks, you know, here and there.
Right.
But the tweaks they make change the gameplay in a huge way, which I think was their goal. I think they wanted to say, they wanted to avoid that feedback where you release a game in a year and a half or 2 years, short cycle, and then everyone's like, well, what did you do? Like, why should I buy this? It's the same game. It's Gears 3.5 is what people would say. So instead they made these big changes. It's still Gears 3 basically, but with these big changes. So I'm going to go ahead and call it, I could call it Gears 3.5. I don't think that's fair in the end.
It's ODST.
The change, yeah, it's different. It's Gears 3, but different. I guess would be the best description. The dropping off ledges is a huge change just from a gameplay perspective, because Gears of War has always been very much a very symmetrical. It's either narrow or it's wide on the maps.
Yeah.
And you can keep track of where everyone's going, and you can keep track of everyone in your head.
It's really linear.
Yeah, it's linear. Like, there's not that many. There's only 2 or 3 choke points on maps, which was sometimes too few, in fact. And now you kind of go the opposite extreme, where there's multiple height levels. People are dropping down holes. People are chopping down ledges, popping up behind you. It's a lot more fast-paced in that aspect, and it's kind of chaos at times. But I think that the actual gameplay itself actually played really well. I was impressed that they had the respawning stuff working properly, because Gears 3 it was horrendous.
Hey, wait, we don't know if it worked properly. We didn't test it sufficiently.
It was working. It was working better. I think that's indisputable, considering Gears 3 system was.
It was terrible.
It was hacked in there pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, they even said that TDM was kind of a last-minute thing, and then they decided to throw everything at it. So all that, it contributes to a faster game. The thing which irks me the most is the loadout system, and it bothers me with Halo 2, Halo 4 as well. Being able to pick your loadout and choose a starting rifle or a shotgun in this case. So instead of having rifle shotgun for the first time in the series, you have rifle or shotgun and a pistol.
Right.
So it changes the mechanics a lot when you can't switch to your shotgun at close range. So you get this stupid shit where you just like walk at each other spraying a rifle at your head, and it's like, this is awful. It's the worst. It's the worst aspect of Gears games is the hipfire rifle spray, and now it happens a ton if you don't use a shotgun. So like that bothers the shit out of me, and you don't know what weapons people have. If you're pushing someone on a corner, you'll know if they have a shotgun or a rifle.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you turn the corner thinking they have a hammer burst and they have a sawed off. It's like, you can't see that. It's not that transparent, and it affects the gameplay in a huge way. But it's just that small change.
Yo, why don't you throw some spot grenades?
Yeah. And then the grenade system is like grenades that are counters, but if you don't have that counter, then you're out of luck.
Yes.
It's the same issue with Halo. It's like, you can give me these counters, but it's like, if you don't have it, then you're out of luck. You should have picked something else. You know, I hate that aspect. It bothers me so much. It's the same way in Call of Duty too. They have the EMP grenades to disable equipment. If you don't have EMP grenades, then the equipment tears you up. If you don't have regular grenade, yep, I hate it. Like, I hate that aspect.
Yo, it's the hard counters.
It's still Gears. I mean, that's the end.
Okay.
Point. And the game types is just unacceptable. I don't get how they could remove a single life game mode when that was the game mode in Gears 1. Still pretty popular in Gears 2. It might have been even the most popular. It was close.
King of the Hill? Or Annex?
Yeah. So, and then Gears 3, obviously TDM came in and it took over, but to remove something that's been the staple of your game for that long, just because you removed down but not out, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like if Counter-Strike all of a sudden removed that game mode for CSGO, and they're like, TDM's all the rage now. It's the default game type. That's all you can play is TDM and Counter-Strike.
Do you know how bad the CS community would rage?
There wouldn't be a CSGO community. And I feel like in Gears Judgment, if they don't have some kind of DLC that magically gives us a one-life game mode, then they won't have that old segment of the community either.
Well, Quinn isn't there, so I don't know who to lobby to. So if it's Jim, I don't think Jim gives two shits. I don't know. I mean, he publicly...
might give a shit.
I really don't think he cares.
Enough of a shit.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think he cares enough to be like, yeah, we need to make this change for Gears of War Judgment. Let's put in a one-life game type. to kind of give back to the diehards. I think it's
certainly not going to put his foot down and make it happen.
I just don't think. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen at all. And that would be me and Quinn's ear. Like, hey, listen, please, from everyone here, like, you know, we'll buy you a car. We got the Kickstarter ready, Quinn, for the car. Let's go.
I sent Quinn probably like 100 messages in the past 2 years that have said bomb game type.
Yeah.
In some form or other.
I mean, I probably texted him bomb game type. So it's
whispered into his nut. Whispered into his ear while he was sleeping.
Yo,
it
Quinn.
Still didn't happen. He just booked it. He's like, fuck this. I don't want these guys bitching about this bomb game type for the rest of my life at this company. So he left for 343.
Yeah, so blame us and our bomb game type. So yeah, I guess I'll kind of hit a couple things. I mean, a lot of the stuff I've pretty much already hammered on to death, you know, on my YouTube channel. But I guess the biggest disappointment for me is probably the game types, and I said that on my my YouTube video, and you know, I really have a hard time understanding, even if they say, okay, we want to completely change the game, like you, why would they not at least remain somewhat to the core and say, hey, we're going to keep a one life objective? It just blows my mind. Not to mention the fact that they go from one extreme with, I don't know, upwards of 20 playlists. Someone said 17, I think it's the official number they were at for Gears of War 3. 17 playlists with a population.
It was DLC that was driving that.
DLC, okay. So 17 playlists, DLC playlists, and you have a population that's about 50,000 at the time. Does that sound right?
At its highest, maybe.
At its highest, maybe. Multiplayer is probably less than that, the duration, but it basically just spread us thin. And they say, okay, that was the wrong thing to do. Then they go back on that and say, all right,
let's trim down 17
let's trim down 17 to 3. That makes perfect sense. That way people will find games all the time. Matchmaking will be perfect. That's just, it just really blows my mind that they went to that extreme with it. And basically, Overrun is the new game type that we're supposed to play. You know, we get domination. It's not really a new game type, because I feel like they could have patched in.
It's Annex.
Yeah, it's Annex. They could have patched in
multiple hills open at once.
Yeah, that could have been put in on Gears of War 3. So Domination doesn't feel like a new game type. Overrun feels like a new game type. Free for all, we were bootlegging free for all since Gears of War 1. So again, not a new game type.
Overrun feels like a new game.
Overrun feels like a completely new game. Like
they could release that for $30 and it would have been justified. Like,
yeah, I mean that's pretty much how I feel. It's like Overrun could have been. That could have been the big push. Maybe it is. I mean, that's why they're doing the multiplayer demo. But I'm just not satisfied. I'm very disappointed with that. And I've been just such a long time Epic supporter, but like Gears of War Judgment was just the game types. Like I get the whole. Again, I've judged the game based on the gameplay. The gameplay's fine, but just the whole like disconnect from the community is just like wowing to me. And that's pretty much my last impression. It's just like I'm shocked that they went this far with the game in terms of the presentation, how they've marketed it. It's just been not very good. I think it's Microsoft's fault though with the marketing, but
yeah, I don't know. Like the decisions that were made don't seem to reflect what I acknowledge Quinn as being for. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he was like the lead multiplayer designer, so I kind of wonder what kind of stuff was going on behind the scenes in that regard. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Just big mystery. Big mystery. So that's pretty much it in terms of the topics that we have for this week. I do want to end with the games that we are currently playing, which is probably what we'll probably end with all the time. So as of right now, my games list looks like this, and this is for anyone that is thinking about some games to play. I'm playing both PC and console. I'm currently playing Smite, which is pretty.
I got you into Smite.
Pretty damn addictive.
That's the shit.
So here's the thing with Smite. I don't like League of Legends, and I don't like Dota. You know, I know that's blasphemous for a lot of people, but there's just something about controlling the character and clicking it like it's an RTS that turns me off. I'd rather just play an RTS than clicking like and watching a little arrow point to where my guy is. On Smite, I'm actually controlling the character, so it feels like I am in direct control of what's going on with the action, so it's a lot more in your face, but the gameplay is essentially the same. So that's what I'm currently playing on PC, mixed in with Loadout. It's free-to-play shooter on Steam, currently in closed beta. I'm actually the community manager for the studio Edge of Reality making that.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug. Go Razor. Another shameless plug.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I also playing Chivalry, Medieval Warfare. That game is so fun. Halo 4 a little bit, Black Ops 2 a little bit, Gears of War 3 just a tiny smidge, and that's about it. What about you?
I've been playing just Smite for the most part recently. I'm playing like 5 free-to-play games that are in beta. Like, when did this happen? I popped in PlanetSide a bit a week or so ago. I've been playing Warframe, which is in beta. It's kind of like a Phantasy Star Online, I guess, where it's missions. You just kind of do the mission, you get your points, then you kick back and you start another mission.
I'd like to compare, just for the record, I'd like to compare Warframe more to Mass Effect than
the visual style and the weapons are very much Mass Effect.
Yeah. And
the gameplay is super fast. It's sprinting, and now they added wall running and zip lining, and it's just insane. Like, it plays really fast. It's still in development. It's really early beta, I think. It's probably still closed, so I can't show any gameplay yet. But it's fun. Path of Exile I downloaded the other day. It's also a free-to-play MMO.
Free-to-play.
It's like Diablo. It's pretty fun from what I played. I haven't really gotten that into it. It's kind of intimidating. You open up the skill tree and it's like, here's 1,000 different things you can level over the course of your character. So, other than that, League of Legends a little bit. I want to get it on since I haven't played since they did the Season 3 update. So I'm going to hop on and get some games in.
No, you're going to play Smite.
Yeah, I'll probably just play Smite a bunch.
So someone said no Crysis 3. I didn't play it. I think Colin
played the demo.
Played it. I think Colin played the demo. So go ahead and talk. Yeah.
Crysis 3 demo is the same as Crysis 2, and I thought that was awful. It's Call of Duty, but you're a giant robot that can go invisible instantly. Sorry, not a robot. You're in a suit, whatever. It's like Halo, but you can go invis instantly at any given time, and you're completely invis. It's hard to see. And the weapons are stiff, and it's so bad. That's the type of stuff that makes me say that we're in a rut for shooters. Like, that's a big budget shooter, and I couldn't even play 4 games.
Battlefield 4.
I think I got 3 ways. A little bit into my 3rd game was like, yep, done.
I think Phobos, who's also our teammate, played Crysis 3 for the demo for maybe the same amount of games as you and came to the same conclusion. I played Crysis 2. I thought it was a terrible game. Didn't like it at all. And if those two tell me that it plays exactly the same, I don't care how beautiful it looks, I will not put any time into the damn game. If it's the exact same
Phobos says it's bad, then it's bad.
Yeah, Phobos, I mean, he plays shit like Duke Nukem Forever, and it's like, yeah!
It's awesome, yeah.
So...
Other than that, I'll give another shout out to Firefall as my last one, even though I haven't...
You haven't touched it in a while.
patching that game. I have trouble patching it. Like, my internet has the problem where I can't download large files, so I need to, like, torrent the patches in order to get to work. But it's the shit. I'm really excited to play once they make the change to 1 tier, which should be soon, I imagine.
Alright. Sounds like a pretty good list.
We came in right at an hour.
Came in right at an hour.
Perfect.
We have to see how it goes when we have guests on. Because when we have guests, it could be completely different. So I hope you guys enjoyed this first show. I don't know if you guys want to ask us any questions here since we have, 3 minutes? This is the Mad Minute. The Mad Minute for questions.
Mad Minute?
This is the Mad Minute. Go.
First, I want to give a shout out to VS on Waterson, by the way.
I'm going to give a shout out.
Which are way better than TR and I can't remember the name of the faction Scoots is on because there's no one ever on for that faction.
Wait, are you talking about the conglomerate? The group that we smack every day?
Oh, it's those guys.
Yeah.
Those are the little blue corpses,
the blue
right?
guys, yeah. They
the blue corpses at the bottom of my tower.
Yeah. Spawning
in the biolab and taking 1 step out of the spawn portal and dying over and over. Is that what those are?
Yeah, I believe so.
So we can talk about THQ.
THQ next week? You want to talk about them right now? Mad Minute? Someone wants us to talk about THQ?
Yeah, we can talk about THQ.
Okay, THQ, in a nutshell. They went under, for those of you guys that didn't know. My favorite game from THQ happened to be WrestleMania. No joke. Or maybe Darksiders. That probably would be second. Close, between one of those. WrestleMania, like way long time ago, or Darksiders. Everything else from THQ has been pretty bad. Hence,
I mean, they're publishers, so you can't really give.
Well, they're publishers, but the studios that they they represent weren't knocking them out the park. So, not surprising, really. There are people that were affected where we reside in Austin. I think a number of different studios that are around here actually scooped up some people, some talent from Vigil, and who all is here from? I know Vigil is.
Junction Point.
Junction Point also went down, but they're not under THQ.
No.
And there's one more here that I can't think of.
BioWare closed recently too.
BioWare Austin closed?
Yeah, a while ago.
I didn't even realize that.
I think so. I could be wrong. I'm fairly certain though.
Oh, but anyway, THQ goes under. You have, I think Crytek picked up Vigil. Is that right? I believe they did.
Yeah.
Crytek picked up Vigil.
They're making a new studio with Vigil's head dude.
Okay, so maybe potential Darksiders 3?
No. I don't think they actually bought Vigil. I think they just announced they're opening a
They didn't want
studio.
any of the intellectual properties? Why not?
I don't think so. I don't think
Darksiders is good. It's good enough.
I haven't played it. It was a Zelda copy.
Yeah, I forgot you're anti everything single player.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
it's a big hit overall.
Hurts the gaming industry, kind of
Yeah.
disappointing, kind of sad.
I'm sure someone else will replace them over time as another big publisher.
And you mean Activision will just buy up everyone?
Or Activision will buy everyone, and then we'll just have Activision games.
Yeah, I think that's what the future is leaning towards: Activision domination. I'm looking in the chat to see any questions. Thoughts on Hawken? I enjoy Hawken. Kind of repetitive. I spent probably 40, 50 hours into it. Bought some mechs. Spent some money in the game just because I want.
You played 50 hours?
I might have spent 50 hours in the game. 40, 50 hours.
No way.
Yeah. No joke.
I played for like 3 hours.
Well, you got to remember,
great.
I just had my daughter, so the whole month of December, I was sitting at home because I had leave. So
Yeah.
I was just.
You didn't have Smite in your life yet?
I didn't have Smite in my life, and in between, taking care of her and downtime, I was playing different games. So
yeah,
I spent some time in Hawken. It's decent. I feel like I don't know. There's not enough distinction for the mechs right now, and every mech kind of feels the same.
You just feel so heavy, and I understand that because you're a giant robot. Not to be.
What do you want this? You want it to
to
be like Japanese, like
hell yeah, like a Gundam
anime
style
Gundam.
mech game?
Yeah, that would be
in
nice.
Unreal Engine in HD.
Yeah,
Do you realize how sick that would be?
That'd be pretty good. There's a game that I used to play called Zone of Enders, and had that Japanese style. Our style is big robot moving around, and that game was awesome. If they made that multiplayer, I might not play Gears of War ever again.
Yeah. The sprint in that game is really cool though, like the afterburner boost or whatever, as you just go skidding along the ground, skiing kind of. Like I actually enjoyed that a lot in Hawken. It wasn't a bad game. It's just it didn't set itself apart from any other game for me. Even Blacklight, I think I enjoyed more as another free-to-play shooter example.
Yeah, Blacklight was pretty damn good.
It's fun. I mean, it's fast-paced. It's fun. It's kind of generic.
Someone asked, we have Predator as a guest. We haven't even worked out guests. We'll probably be planning the next episode next week. And someone else asked, will we have guests next week? Once we hit Monday, I think I'll probably make a post or something like that detailing how we're going to kind of plan these out, the topics you guys can expect. We might even do some community stuff where you guys maybe vote up topics that you guys would like to see us talk about. We're kind of up in the air on this, but we do want to make it about games.
Still trying to nail down the format.
Yeah. Let's see here. Someone asked, will I get Last of Us? You know what?
Looks sick, but PlayStation. It's PlayStation only, isn't it?
It's PlayStation only. I do have a PlayStation 3. People saw that I played Uncharted 3, which was, oh my god. I don't know how I went so long without playing an Uncharted game. It was so good. The story on it is just so good. I'm
all about God of War.
God, I like God of War, but that kind of gets, I don't know. After a while, that kind of got old. Just smashing people. Like it's really hard for me to play those style games. Although I did end up getting DMC, Devil May Cry, but I haven't put any hours into it yet. So here's the thing about Last of Us. Isn't it survival horror, kinda?
Yeah, it's very much survival horror. There's zombies and shit.
So I'm gonna publicly just state this, guys.
That you're a pussy? Is that what you're going for? Is that what
Colin
this is leading
knows.
to?
Colin knows.
Is your grand reveal that behind it all you're just one big pussy and afraid of everything?
So listen, guys. Here's the story. All right, I was 8 or 9 years old, and the original Resident Evil came out. It was on PlayStation, I believe. And I was playing, and everyone was talking about the game. I read the reviews, and I had was like, "Mom, you got to get me this game." And she kind of looked at it, was like, oh, "Resident Evil, okay, you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want this game." And so she bought the game, and I happened to play it. It was dark out. It was like 9 o'clock or something like that, and I remember the opening scene. We get into the house, and the zombified dogs came at me,
yep.
And I remember one jumped through the window.
Yeah, scared
the shit out of me, and I stopped playing. And
it's a classic moment. That's
listen to me. I have not played a survival horror game since then.
You haven't had a dog either.
I am scarred for life. Scarred for life. I haven't played Dead Space. I haven't played Dead Space 2. I played Resident Evil 4, but I played co-op, and I only played the beginning of it, the lit level, with Alex, because he was like, "Dude, you got to hop in and help me out." And so I hopped in with Callie North, our teammate, and
in a lit land center.
It was super bright. I didn't have to worry about anything, and I have not played it since. I haven't played Fear single player. I play Fear multiplayer, but I don't mess with survival horror games. No Silent Hill. I've just missed out on that whole genre.
You didn't play Fear?
I didn't play Fear single player.
You didn't play Fear multiplayer at all?
I played multiplayer. Yeah.
When we were all going pro for the Cyber Athlete Professional League.
Yeah. When they had that, and we were trying to play and get all into it, that's the only
totally legit competitive title.
Exactly. Those headshots. I think there's even a montage of wraiths floating around the internets.
All right.
So yeah, I'm just a little bitch. I'm admitting it.
I understand. Resident Evil was pretty terrifying.
Publicly stating that I am a little bitch when it comes to survival horror games, and I will still refuse to play them. So Last of Us looks awesome. I watched about half of the trailer, turned it off, and won't be playing it.
If I owned a PlayStation, I'd play.
You know what? I'll try to play with Christy. How about that?
You just let Christy play.
She won't play.
I think that she can play it better than you can.
Well, she'll be
keeping composure.
No.
I don't know.
Are you serious right now? Here's the thing, though. You know me. I can watch horror movies on end, just day after. I could watch hours and hours and hours of horror movies. But there's just something about being in it, controlling the character, and getting scared shitless that I cannot handle.
Yep.
So Slender Man, no. None of that.
Alright.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. Just a little bit over. And I want to thank everyone for tuning into this first episode. Scoos, thank you for stopping by, man. That's awesome. We watch Live on 3 religiously.
Yep.
So
much that we copied and made our own show.
Not really.
No, not really.
Not really. But yeah. That's pretty much it. That's all we got for you guys. I'm going to head out.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.
Adios. Colin, go ahead and wave for him. Yeah, do the salute.